Donald Trump will give the biggest speech of his political career tonight at the Republican National Convention. Trump will accept his party's nomination on the final night of the convention in Cleveland. Tonight, GOP leaders are focusing on party unity. The theme of the night is Make America One Again. But Texas Senator Ted Cruz is showing that factions of the GOP remain divided. Cruz is reiterating his refusal to support Trump as the nominee. This morning, Governor Mike Pence reacted to accepting the nomination for vice president last night.
Very grateful for the opportunity to last night accept the Republican nomination for vice president of the United States. It was a profoundly humbling night for me and for my family, and we're looking forward to hearing our nominee address the nation tonight.
And Ivanka Trump is expected to address unity before introducing her father with a speech that is meant to show a more personal side of Donald Trump. That's coming up at the GOP convention tonight. Now, Josh Scacco is an assistant professor in Purdue's Brian Lamb School of Communication. He joins us now to discuss the GOP convention and how it's been going so far. Thanks, Josh, for coming in. I appreciate it. It's great to meet you.
Thanks for having me, Jeff.
I heard Mike Pence's speech described this morning as steady, eloquent. Somebody said it was funny. Kind of grade his performance last night. It seemed like an old school sort of an address.
Jeff, Governor Pence did exactly what he needed to do in terms of a vice presidential address. He fulfilled his responsibility to pump Trump up in terms of the top of the ticket. He also went after Hillary Clinton as an attack dog. And finally, he introduced himself to the American voter. As he made note, individuals don't know who he is outside of Indiana, and so he began his speech by that introduction to the American public. So I would give it overall, a solid B+, A-.
Yeah, he even acknowledged that nobody outside of Indiana really knew who he was.
Exactly.
Right before he took the stage, though, Ted Cruz was on the stage, and I was doing dishes and kind of had one ear on the convention, and then it dawned on me that the entire convention hall was booing Ted Cruz, and it drew my attention in. The networks were on a split screen because Donald Trump had entered the room. Mm-hmm. What was that all about? Obviously, it was about a non-endorsement of the candidate, but that's really off message, isn't it, for a night that was supposed to be Mike Pence's?
Absolutely, and as you mentioned at the top of this, this is about party unity. And clearly what was on display was party disunity. And Ted Cruz was playing to an audience beyond the convention hall. So the boos, I don't think necessarily had the effect that he didn't necessarily care about them. He was playing to a larger audience, and I think in that way he succeeded.
And he was playing to 2020, a lot of people think. When you look back on this convention, it seems to me that the messaging has been off, whether it was Melania Trump's plagiarism accusations or Ted Cruz. It just seems like every night doesn't go the way they'd like it to go.
I would say that that's probably a nice assessment of it. Compared to previous Republican conventions, a party that likes unity, a party that likes control over messaging, it has not been anything but. But I would also say that compared to how Donald Trump has run his campaign so far, that a number of commentators thought that perhaps there wouldn't be that level of organization going into the convention, and maybe that's playing out here as well.
Any tips on what we might look for tonight? I know that trying to handicap Donald Trump is a dangerous game, but any thoughts on what we may expect?
Well, I won't put money on this,
Okay.
but what I will say is the big thing that Donald Trump has to do is reach beyond that 40% that he already has in the polls. He has to hit that middle 10% of the public, really show them that he is prepared and qualified to be commander-in-chief. Right now in the polls, that's where he's lacking quite a bit. He gets points for candor. He doesn't get points for qualification.
Okay. Josh Scacco, Purdue Communications. Always interesting with the GOP, and especially this year. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks, Jeff.
Appreciate it.